of them. They're just trying to earn a living, look after their family, have a nice holiday and all that stuff. But they don't know how their contribution fits with them and them and them. Only the ones at the top know that. And these pyramids fuse together. The banking pyramid, the transnational corporation pyramid, the oil cartel pyramid, the pharmaceutical cartel pyramid. All these different pyramids, media ownership pyramid. I mean, you know, the major media corporations in America, for instance, are owned by the corporations like General Electric. And at the top is a pyramid that encompasses all of them. And at that point are these shadow families, people like the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Habsburgs, and others, who are putting down these apparently, at the level we experience them, totally unconnected areas of our life, the same policies. And what those policies are, in its foundation form anyway, in their foundation form, is centralization of power in every area of our lives. Because the more power is centralized, the more power the few have over the many. So you go into a bank, you hand over a check to the person behind the counter. They don't know what's happening in the bank manager's office and what's being decided. He don't know what's happening at the next level. They don't want to accept the next level. And that's how it's possible for a few to dictate the direction of the world, with the many working every day unknowingly to do it for them. And so, one name that is given to these families is the Illuminati, the illuminated ones. They know more than we do because they keep what they know from us. And behind the corporations, different masks on the same face, is actually a corporation. Different directors, different frontmen, not always, mind, interconnected directorships, but at control in the hands of the few. And it's the same with politics. Presidents, prime ministers, heads of the World Bank, Secretary General of NATO, they are perceived to be in the red bit at the top in terms of their own hierarchy. No, no. They're some way down. I'm probably being optimistic with this. They are there. The here today, come tomorrow people that I mentioned earlier are there simply to fill the public positions through which those that operate in the shadows above them in the pyramid dictate the policy. And that's why the policy never changes, no matter what government's in power, an incessant centralization. So when I hear people saying, it's Bush, Bush is behind it, stop Bush, please. He's not Big Brother. Bush is Big Brother. We got nothing to bloody worry about there then. He's a vehicle, and there'll be another one along soon. Because this is how it works. Controlling the movie by controlling all sides in the movie through the compartmentalized pyramid system. The secret society system, I could talk about this for ages, but we talk about secret societies that we can access in terms of their existence. The Freemasons, the Knights of Malta, Opus Dei, the Knights Templar, and all these people. And they feed chosen people out of the top of their pyramids into the pyramid where the real action is. And often that pyramid they don't give it a name. I call it the Illuminati, and other people call it the Illuminati, but often they don't give it a name. Why? You try investigating an organization that doesn't have a name. Very difficult. And this is how it works. This is Albert Pike. He was a Freemasonic god in America, and his statue is outside the Washington, D.C. police station to this day. This is what he said in one of his writings. Fictions are necessary to the people, and the truth becomes deadly to those who are not strong enough to contemplate it in all its brilliance. In fact, what can there be in common between the vile multitude and sublime wisdom? The truth must be kept secret, and the masses need a teaching proportioned to their imperfect reason. That's how the network behind the people who appear to be in power see the cattle population, you and me. You can also symbolize this network as a spider's web. You've got the spider at the center, and that's where the agenda is being dictated from. These different strands can symbolize different organizations and secret organizations, secret societies, which answer to the spider. The closer to the spider the organization is, the more secret it is, the more exclusive it is, and in the end, not even in the public knowledge it is. As you come out from the spider, you eventually start to have organizations that directly interact with the public. Organizations that people who follow politics will recognize. And then there's a few just back from there, which are kind of secret, but thanks to researchers, they've been acknowledged to exist, like one called the Bilderberg Group, which I'll get to. Now, within the spider, and we're getting more and more relevant to this election now, this Big Brother by-election. The Round Table was a secret society that was started by a man called Cecil Rhodes, who died in 1902. And this secret society, which has been exposed massively in great detail by one of the people called Carroll Quigley, who was a professor at Georgetown University, actually taught Bill Clinton. And he was connected to this Round Table network and had access to secret papers of that secret society to see what they'd been doing through the 20th century, since they were created. The Round Table then started to create offshoot organizations which it controls. First came the Council on Foreign Relations, 1921 in America. The Rockefeller family were behind that. Then came the Royal Institute of International Affairs in London, actually came before that even. Then came the Bilderberg Group, 1954, and the United Nations, and the Club of Rome, 1968, and the Trilateral Commission in 1973. And the Trilateral Commission was created by the Rockefellers, David Rockefeller, and a man called Zbigniew Brzezinski, who is the man behind Barack Obama, who I mentioned earlier. The Bilderberg Group was officially met for the first time at the Bilderberg Hotel in Oosterbeek, Holland in 1954 in the May. And every year, although its steering committee meets very regularly, every year they have a meeting somewhere in the world of the high and mighty of global finance, business, politics, media ownership, intelligence agencies and the military, including the Secretary General of NATO. The only place that massive meeting of people in positions of power that dictate the direction of the world will be reported, not what went on there necessarily, just the fact that they're meeting, is on the internet, on sites like mine, Alex Jones, the Rense site and stuff like that, and others, because the mainstream media who attend it, some of their members, never report its existence. If any other organization was doing that with those people, it would be reported, not the Bilderberg Group. Now, Carroll Quigley wrote two books. One was called The Anglo-American Establishment, and another one, a big work, was called Tragedy and Hope, in which he exposed this from the inside, because he agreed with what they were doing. And as he pointed out in his books, their goal was the centralization of global power with a world government. He agreed with it. He just thought the public ought to know it was going on. This is what he wrote in one of his books, The Anglo-American Establishment. The picture is terrifying because such power, whatever the goals at which it may be directed, is too much to be entrusted safely in any group. No country that values safety should allow what the Milner Group, this is Alfred Milner, Lord Milner, who took over from Rhodes as its head, and sometimes it's called the Milner Group. The Milner Group accomplished, that is, that a small number of men would be able to wield such power in administration and politics, should be given almost complete control over the publication of documents relating to their actions, should be able to exercise such influence over the avenues of information that create public opinion, and should be able to monopolize so completely the writing and teaching of the history of their own period. And he goes on to explain how they were behind the major events of the 20th century, including the two world wars. So that is one of the key networks within this